India's very respected and senior-most archaeologist Mr. SR Rao was in Ahmedabad to deliver a lecture about Lord Krishna's submerged city of Dwarka. He was here also to hand over a project report to Chief Minister Mr. Narendra Modi for proposed underwater museum at Dwarka. We, some 3 curious reporters, grabbed an opportunity to talk with Mr. Rao in detail about his Dwarka experience and knowledge.
You just mentioned during your presentation that you are working on a project.
Yeah. You see, the importance of Dwarka is not confined to Gujarat or India. It's of tremendous international importance for the simple reason it throws a lot of light on the history of India, particularly for a period which Western scholars have considered as a dark age in Indian history.
Right.
They think that after Indus civilization, the Indians forgot writing, forgot metallurgy, forgot engineering, and all sorts of things. That is the general opinion. But Mahabharata, people had thought it is only a text of religion, philosophy, and all sorts of things. But it has mentioned so many kingdoms which existed and which are later, referred to in Buddhist literature, Jaina literature, and all that. The Yadavas, the Satvaks, and you'll be surprised to know, by 2nd century AD, a Greek ambassador by name Heliodorus becomes a Bhagavata, a devotee of Krishna. He says in the inscription, which is near Bhopal, there is an inscription at a place called Vidisha. He puts up a pillar in front of the temple of Krishna, Vasudeva, and he calls Heliodorus himself as Parama Bhagavata. He is a great devotee of Krishna, and calls Krishna Devadeva, God of gods. See, that was the great influence of Krishna's Bhagavad Gita and all that, even in foreign countries, about 2000 years ago. So, Mahabharata must have been of tremendous significance. Now, importance of Dwarka lies in filling up this gap in Indian history.
Okay.
Between the end of Indus civilization and beginning of Buddhist period. That is between 1800 BC to 500 BC. So we have a gap of 1000 years almost in Indian history. Now, if Dwarka really existed, then Krishna must have been a real person. You see. So we thought, of course we were actually interested in repairing Dwarkadish temple, and then we found some earlier remains. What we did was, when we went to the lowest level on land at Dwarka, we got evidence of a township destroyed by sea. And Mahabharata says that Dwarka was destroyed by sea. So we connected the two, and then therefore Dwarka must be somewhere nearby in the sea. So that's how marine archaeology started. Now our project now is, let us preserve what has been actually discovered. Now what has happened to that? After 1994 there is hardly any work done after I left NIO.
Can you come again, sir? After 1994?
No work has been done in the sea at Dwarka. In 1998, some exploration was done near Bet Dwarka, and there also they found some stone anchors and all that. We had done a lot of work in Bet Dwarka earlier because we had found a lot. So both the Dwarakas,
Bait Dwarka is the original.
that's the first one.
Okay.
Krishna built the Bed Dwarka, I mean it was Kushasthali and called it Dwarka. Next he found Yadavas were coming in large numbers. There was no place for them to settle them, rehabilitate them. So he asks, he comes to the mainland. And Mahabharata clearly says, it says, Samudra Dasachadveta, etc. When the sea level was lower actually, he built the second Dwarka, during his own period, but both got destroyed by the sea. That's what is very clear now.
Okay.
What we call first Kushasthali Dwarka is in the island, because they call it as Udhadi Madhyastham in the sea.
Right.
And second Dwarka is at Gomati Skanda Purana clearly says it is at a place where Gomati river joins the western sea. That is Paschimasa Samudrasya Tiramasrita Tishtati, etc. So both were built by Krishna. One in the island, the second on the mainland. And both were destroyed. Now what is left is important. After all, see, in 2000 years we will have destroyed everything. But fortunately where they have used large blocks of stone, some of them are 6 feet long and 1.5 feet thick and 2 feet wide and all that.
6 feet long. 6 feet long.
Blocks of stone
2 feet wide.
and stone. They have used it for fort walls and bastions, what we call. See, is a peculiar construction. They have put for these huge fort walls a foundation of boulders. This is exactly what you do today in Bombay. In reclamation area, they put boulders over the boulders. They say with the boulder foundation, they erect houses or buildings. Same thing that was done in the Mahabharata period also. So we have got our photographs, our film would have shown that you see the fort walls and below that this boulder foundation. So these are intact. And of course up to certain height, about 2 meters or 2.5 meters, you know the plan of the town. And it is almost similar to what Mahabharata describes. Secondly, see, Mahabharata says, see that it had so many streets, so many, those cannot be seen now because houses built of smaller size stone have all been leveled up by the sea. They are all lying in debris. It's difficult to make smaller size stones, rubble like stone. If they are used for houses, private houses and all that. But for fort walls and perhaps for palace or temple, they have used, large blocks of stone. They are not moved by the waves and currents because we take always a geologist with us, ocean geologist. Dr. Naik was with us, and all this equipment is available in the National Institute of Oceanography and not with Archaeological Survey. Actually, Archaeological Survey did not fund it at all. It is Science and Technology who did it. Now, if people are going today again, I read in the Times also today that somebody has gone. But without these instruments, what are you going to do? It is like my diving there without any equipment. See, scientific instruments are used by the National Institute of Oceanography for finding out what is there in the seabed. There is an instrument which clearly gives the map of the seafloor. And there from that you can find out, distinguish between sand and rock, sand and clay, sand and all that. So this is not with Archaeological Survey. It's only with the National Institute of Oceanography. Fortunately, we have a letter from National Institute of Oceanography saying that they are prepared to cooperate with any measure which the state government may take to protect these remains of ancient Dwarka. Mr. Vora is in charge of Mr. Vora, K.H. Vora. He is in charge of this instrumentation and marine archaeology in Goa. And being a Gujarati, naturally he is interested, as I am interested, because I consider Gujarat as my karma bhumi. Though my janma bhumi may be Karnataka, I worked for 20 years in Gujarat. Therefore, I am also somebody.
You worked with ASI?
I worked with ASI for up to my retirement. Only after retirement I took up this underwater archaeology from Goa.
Whatever remains we have of Dwarka, does we have any learning practices the way we have in Lothal, like drainage practice or something like that? Do we have something like that in Dwarka remains also?
What evidence?
Organized city structure, elements of organized city.
In fact, Dwarka was itself an example of second urbanization. First urbanization was Indus cities like Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Lothal. And it is only in Gujarat that we get this evidence of second urbanization. And all well planned. We have got the contour map and also we have put the plan of the town. All that is published in the book. Full report is given.
So the book that you have.
It is, marine archaeology in India is a book published by Government of India itself. And it is in publication division here in Ahmedabad itself. It is available, you can buy it. It's for 600 rupees, but beautifully printed with 100 color plates, with 100 black and white plates. So that is number one. There is another book, Lost City of Dwarka, which gives quotations from Mahabharata and what we have got. So that is a private publication by Aditya Prakashan, Delhi. And that is fast going out of print because the owner died. And then you see there is a lot of sale abroad, and in India perhaps nobody purchased much because it cost 1,600 rupees. So it is fast going out of print. Of course, in my book Lothal and Indus Civilization, revised edition I am giving very shortly. It will come through RN publishers, and there I will include deliberately Dwarka. Because after Indus civilization, what happened? See, Dwarka is here. And second urbanization, again writing continued, Indus Valley writing continued, people, the language is Sanskrit, and all that information Dwarka supplies. That is the importance of Dwarka. I say, as Sundarajan once said, look here, it is a discovery of the century, because apart from Krishna's Dwarka, the writing, what happened to Indus Valley writing? There were thousands of seals are there of Harappa, Mohenjo-daro. What happened? Did India forget the writing? No, it continued. In the Mahabharata period, we get the inscription on pottery. It says Mahakacha Shahapa. Oh, sea lord, protect us. Some merchant must have given some offering to Samudra Narayana and written on that. There is another inscription where it only two letters are there. Bhaga means God. You see, we think that Bhaga no, it means God. Bhagavan, Bhagavata comes from Bhaga only. So the language was Sanskrit, even in Indus Valley. It continued in the Mahabharata period. Urbanization was there, and iron technology came into vogue. Earlier in Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, there is no iron technology at all. It is all brass, or bronze and copper and all that sort of. So there was further development during Mahabharata period. Now, as Dwarka has been found, so Krishna must be a real person. It is not a God who came from above and then built Dwarka town as if he had no. It's a clear evidence of a continuity of the civilization of India without any break. And after that, see, all these kingdoms of, Panchala, Matsya and all that, see, continues in the Buddhist period also. Taxila, Nalanda, all these things. Kashi, they are all mentioned in the Mahabharata. Of course, what is the original text of Mahabharata? Only there were not more than 8,800 slokas. Gradually it becomes 24,000. Then it becomes, say, 1 lakh of. You go on adding and all that sort. So we take the first one, original. What does that say? It says, Krishna came. Everywhere Dwarka, this temple is called Ranchodji, as if he was afraid of battle and ran away from that. No, Mahabharata clearly says elders of Mathura passed a resolution asking Krishna and Balarama to get out of Mathura for some time, because Jarasandha has enmity only with Krishna and Balarama, because they refused to accept the suzerainty of Magadha, Jarasandha. That is why Jarasandha was attacking Mathura every time. The elders requested, please go out of Mathura, leave Mathura for some time. Again we will fight. Krishna agreed. See, that shows the statesmanship of this man, Krishna. In public interest, he leaves Mathura and comes to Dwarka. The whole question, why did he come all the way from, Sankale has put this question, why did he come all the way to Dwarka? Because this was the earlier home of the Yadavas, Bet Dwarka. Kukudman Raivata had built Kuchistadi. It was destroyed by some enemy. Krishna comes and sees that, so he rebuilds it and calls it as Dwarka. That's the first Dwarka. Then he finds a lot of Yadavas are coming. You see, that island has a hill on one side and only a small strip of land on this side. So their land was not sufficient. So he asks, he comes to the mainland and builds a big port also, because we have evidence of a port. So what they have done is, this is again the first in the world to build a seaport. Earlier Lothal port was at tidal port, at the, in the land. Ships would come through the river up to Lothal. But here in the open sea, to build a berthing place in the open sea is very difficult, because particularly the junction of a river and sea, there are two forces operating, the sea waves and the current of the river. At that place they have built, because the ships that come can go up Gomti river and all that. So that was the idea. Now we have found that there is natural rock. They have dressed it beautifully, cut holes in that so that ships can be tied. And we find huge anchors below that place. So we have found the first seaport of the world. Dwarka has that unique honor. Just as Lothal has the honor of first tidal dock. See, therefore, urbanization, seaport, are the two important factors, and continuity of writing and use of Sanskrit language. All this Dwarka yields and fills the given. So that is the importance internationally. Because I went to Lebanon and see the Phoenician dockyard. There is a miserable brick one of 1,000 years later they built it. But Lothal had already built the biggest, one of the biggest dockyards of the world. 700 feet long dock is there at Lothal now. So that's, and then we have now found that the first alphabetic writing of the world was invented not by Phoenicians as people have thought, but by the Indus Valley people. See, we have shown, published a booklet. We have established a museum at Tirupati in the Sanskrit Vidyapith, showing the evolution of Indus writing from picture writing to alphabetic writing. This is one of the greatest contributions, because without proper writing, how can knowledge, expand? So this is a great contribution. Some scholar, foreign scholar has said, somebody invents and somebody else gets the name. This is what has happened. Indus Valley people found out, the first alphabetic writing. Give me a pencil to show you. How intelligent these people were.
Sir, what is your proposal for Dwarka to the state government? You have proposed something. Can you give some details on that project?
What details is, what we want to do is, you will have to, all the structures that we exposed have been covered by sand during the last 14 years. Because even when we were working, also some were being covered. Now, because of neglect for so many years, it is covered. You have to remove the sand now. And that can be done only by National Institute of Oceanography. They have the instruments, they have the maps, they have the GPS, everything. Remove that. After removing, what happens? Some must have fallen down also. Put them back, because we had the drawings already, no difficulty. If there is no drawing, then it would have been difficult. Reconstruct what we had found as per our photographs and drawings. And after that, you see, in Dwarka waters, it is about 1 kilometer long. In Bet Dwarka, it is about 4 kilometers. Of course, in Bet Dwarka, just here, just there, like that. But in Dwarka waters, you can see almost the whole thing, with a plan. Now, reconstruct it, give it some proper foundation. There is an engineering body known as Tar Steel Research Foundation in Bangalore. They said we are prepared to do it, because they put up that image of Buddha, which sank in the tank at Hyderabad. They have done that one. So we can do it. All right. So there is an agency, National Institute of Oceanography, will remove the sand, etc. Will put the things back according to original drawings. You know the plan of the town then. When you know the plan of the town, the preservation, these fellows will do it. Tar Steel Research Fund, they say they will use a water grout, a particular type of mortar for that one, so that further destruction does not take place. And then put up what we call the coffer dam around it, so that the currents and waves, water will be there, but currents and waves will not destroy what you have preserved now. Now, after that, how do people go there to see? Two ways. Either you use a catamaran type of boat, not this mere wooden, but steel, catamaran type of boat with a glass bottom. You can see when it is going there. When the catamaran type goes to taking the tourists to see. That is the purpose. It will be an underwater museum, like the aquarium, etc. of New Zealand. In New Zealand also, what they have done is, they have put an acrylic tube also. We can also use an acrylic tube, transparent tube, with chairs which move automatically, which automatically turn back when you want to turn. Or you can put it go around. They say, of course, it is very costly. Secondly, may become sometimes dangerous also. See, when it fails and all that. So that
tube you are talking about. The plastic tube,
acrylic tube.
Which can be dangerous.
Yeah. If not properly maintained, see, there is the people will be down below. If it fails, what are you going to do? So they said you can use catamaran and all that. But how do you go to that one? They say you will have to build a jetty. From the jetty, the boat will take you around, just as you are in bed there, cars or some such thing. But instead of jetty, he say take a decommissioned submarine, put it there. You see, in this, you can go into the submarine, connect that tube or catamaran, let it come up to that point. People will go into that. So, you can use a decommissioned submarine instead of building a jetty. Have catamarans instead of acrylic tube. Allow tourists to go around and come back. And they can see whatever is there. Another way also is, instead of having the acrylic tube all round, have only some wells, acrylic wells, tubes coming up. Your boat will go there, above the water. In water. The tube is above the water. You climb into and go into the tube. That's also risky. Therefore, there are two recommendations. One is either acrylic tube, as in New Zealand, or the catamaran, the glass bottom and all that sort of a thing. So this cost estimated in 2000 or 1999 was 14 crores. Now it will be definitely more.
So you proposed to the government at that time?
Yes.
You had proposed?
Yes, we had proposed, we had submitted it and all that. But you see, what they did was, I'll tell you what happened. They called somebody from Australia. That fellow was a cameraman. What is the cameraman will at the most, when you do everything, he will take a photograph or a video film. And he was not an engineer. You should have an underwater engineer expert. You call the man from New Zealand, in Auckland. They have this kind of underwater museum. Or in Singapore. Singapore is not that advanced, but Auckland is. If you do that, then he will tell you how to execute it, how to do this. And because our people Australian Research Foundation may preserve, you may open up, but how to operate the other part of it. Coffer Dam they can also build. Anybody, our engineers quite good at Coffer Dam. What about this jetty and all sorts of things? So you take that consultation. What happened really when I sent it to Government of India? They sent somebody to Goa, and there is a biologist, not or somebody. Said no, what is there to see? You need not bother about it and all that. So they must have kept it down below. They thought that they got some excuse for not doing the work. So this is what happened. Now perhaps Narendra Modi is interested in that. I wrote a letter to him. He said, I will do my best. That's what he wrote. So perhaps that is why I am called. Otherwise, who will call for this seminar? I know that one.
And sir, what is the worth part there lying there under sea, which everyone would like to see there?
Yeah.
Everyone will take all the pain to go there to see the particular part or particular thing. What is lying there exactly?
The fort walls and
discovered part.
Yes.
What is the most important discovered part lying there?
What the most important is the fort walls that are in and the gateway, and then you have in some places you got a small drain, but that may not be visible because it is down below. But this one, the plan of the town, on either bank of Gomati, because submerged Gomati is also there. Of course, our contour maps and everything will show. So you have. If you had seen the film, you would have known what is there in the. So our film shows that. Of course, we have not covered everything in the film because afterwards also some work was done, and we had very little money to work. We were working for only 15 or 20 days in the whole year, while we can work for 3 months. In the fair season. We didn't have the money. We had a few lakhs of rupees. Per day we will have to spend 1 lakh of rupees for hiring the boat. These so many things. So this costs about 15 crores. According to our estimate, 14 crores. It will cost now almost double practically. So that will be the cost. But it can be self-sufficient also. You put tickets, anybody would love to pay 100 rupees and then you say, and they have calculated there will be 1,000 visitors per day.
It will be unique experience itself.
Unique
to
experience.
Go underwater.
And then, yes, correct. You'll be surprised. People are afraid of the sea. When we called for applications for training in marine archaeology, only 2 applications were there. One of them we called both for interview. One said, I am the only son of my father, I don't want to come. That is, he thought he will die. So this is the conception. This could be an adventure sport also. Isn't it? If somebody knows some diving and all that. In fact, this India Today man had written to me at that time. So we have a cameraman who knows diving and he can. I said, how long can he stay? No, he can stay for 2 minutes. Then afterwards, then he won't come up at all. I just cut a joke. Because the current is so much in the water, even the Navy could not take proper film of Dwarka and other places. In fact, when Commander Gupchup showed his film to me, I said, don't show it to anybody. People will say Navy doesn't know anything and all that. See, we had very good underwater cameramen. After all, Vision India produced only from surface, although whatever was possible. But all underwater filming has been done by us, by Marine Archaeology Center itself. So we have experts now in marine archaeology. And in fact, when I showed it in Texas, because Texas is the first university in the world which started marine archaeology. I met Mr. Bass there. And when I showed the film, he was surprised. Look, we are still thinking of computer. Rao has already produced a film and all that.
Sir,
we showed the film. Yes.
In which year
that
underwater shooting was happened? In which year?
From 1983.
It was too early for underwater movie.
Yes, correct.
And
1983 to 1994, we have worked for 11 years in water in Dwarka.
And the shooting was gone?
Yes, sir. Of course, not all the years, but because we had little money, you see, after all, it means a lot of money for us. And see, the Indian brain, I should say that, we had one Bandodkar. Sometimes I say, God helps you when you are very sincere. We did not know whom to call for training our archaeologists. One Mr. Khoker said, I will give you a man, he's not much educated, but good at work. I said, give him. This fellow is only SSLC fellow. He has not studied beyond SLC, but very good in underwater photography, diving, running a ship, everything. So we got that, and he trained our archaeologists. Now, what is now happening is, they have asked these Navy people learning diving to look into Dwarka waters. What will they know? They know nothing of archaeology. There may be a man, one archaeologist there, but actually it is the archaeologists who should be trained. I had given the proposal to Archaeological Survey also, have 4 centers in India, not one. Dwarka, then have Goa, then have Visakhapatnam or Madras, and then Calcutta. At least because UNESCO says that all the ships sunk in Indian waters or any country and all the submerged ports should be surveyed, recorded, declared as World Heritage, declared as heritage sites, so that others don't come and disturb them. Others don't take away the antiquities and sell in the international market. Because anybody can go, if you are not careful, anybody will come and dig and take away from the sea. And that is, I was a member of that committee, UNESCO committee for what is known as ICUCS, International Committee for Underwater Cultural Heritage. I was a member for 3 sessions, 3 periods, and we recommended India also should, we have prepared a map on the basis of the manuscripts that we have got in India. Do you know what foreign, British, French, Portuguese all have done? They have taken away all the manuscripts where exact position of a ship that sank is given. Only where it is vague they have left it here in India. On that basis we went to Lakshadweep because a British ship was carrying gold and we were also equally interested in gold. So went to Lakshadweep, but along with the Navy, I went in a naval ship, you see, and all that. Navy divers dived there in Lakshadweep. But what happened, something went wrong. I mean, I think the location was not correct. All the accurate bearings of where the ship sank, the records are either in the British Museum or in the French archives and all that, not in India. But whatever is left, on that basis we have prepared a map showing how many ships have sunk. About 100 ships have sunk in Indian waters. And we should. And one of them actually carried the Bharuth sculptures from India to, it was carrying to London and it sank in Ceylon waters. And we said we are prepared to lift it. But we didn't get the permission. So these are some of the...
Are there any comments from your side about the current underwater excavation going on near Dwarka? We read
Yes,
several reports that wall has been found and all the things we see.
Yes, it is the same wall which we had found. I know that. I mean, because it is our own survey, we don't want to comment much. I mean, only thing is, they should have archaeologists for, diving and assessing what you are getting. And then, when we have excellent equipment in National Institute of Oceanography, use that one. Not some person who wants some training there in the Navy and you take that person and then say we have discovered that. See, what we have discovered is all covered by sand. We know it very well ourselves. Because even when we were working, this was happening. You see, what happened was, at the Gomati mouth, was a sort of sandbar. So they had to dredge that one. Again, this state government, they asked Simitapur company to send a dredger. They removed sand and put it where just nearby. Waves carried that one next season and covered our what we had exposed.
Sir, so you saw the picture of that wall in newspaper or something like that, because
Yes,
they have claimed that this wall has been discovered now by them.
No, it is wrong. It has been discovered.
You have discovered it year back in
back
80s or 90s.
Yes, correct.
then how
I
come
saw that. I saw the Times picture also today. I got it in fact.
But then have you said them or have you conveyed
No,
the message
I have
to
not.
Society of India or something like
No,
that?
I have not
This wall was
done.
discovered earlier.
In fact, that is what we say. We have the GPS, which shows all the walls. We have got a plot actually. We have published that map also in the book.
So that wall's underwater picture or underwater movie is available when it was discovered in 80s or 90s?
Yes.
It is well documented.
Yes.
Then how come they are so big?
That's what I say. I mean, you see, they all took somebody for training and they said we found this one. That we know. Actually, there are two periods. We need to have shown the section. One is Mahabharata period structures. Others are later structures, summers. They are nearer the shore and all that. So after 1000 years or so, again they started building there, and they have sunk as the sea level is rising. So you have two periods, Mahabharata period structures and later structures. It is the later structure that they said they must have found, but these were already found by us, and we had given there the sections, and in the seabed you must use his scientific instruments for accuracy, otherwise you will go wrong. When you want to go once again to that structure, you will not know how to go. So GPS is now available, and other systems are available. Without even digging in the seabed, there is a profiler which gives a section of the seabed, clay, sand, rock, all sorts of things. It will show you need not actually dig there inside at all. It will give you the section. So all this equipment is in the National Institute of Oceanography. Now you don't want to give credit to anybody, and you want to just say that I have discovered it. I mean, it may be a structure which we had already discovered and mapped, and the film will be there, film will show. So all this is happening.
But sir, what is your suggestion? Because they are spending money, they are doing some underwater excavation now after so many years.
They should do it only with the help of scientific instruments available and trained archaeologists available in NIO, National Institute of Oceanography. Then I can understand. Supposing they do discover something new, we have mapped everything, you see, and found it to be, you see, for example, we said this is the end of Dwarka, because after 1.2 kilometers, the old berthing of the port of Dwarka has been discovered. That means the sea had extended up to that. Nobody would build in those days in the sea itself, you see. Nobody would build a township. So we said that's what we call as the nick point, where the sea and the river meet. So then we have found the nick point, that is where the natural rock was converted into a sort of birthing place by Dwarka people. Now, beyond that, is there anything? Of course, we tried. We have explored that area also, because all our report gives full details. How much you did, what are the zones we have explored, what have you found there, and all that. Now, if somebody now goes, say, without any instrument, or some Navy man who wants to learn diving, yes, we found some structure. What should we say? This is what is happening. So whatever they want to do, they have to do it in full consultation with all the document available already in the National Institute of Oceanography, Marine Archaeology Center. Mr. Vora is in charge of it. He has written a letter to me saying that we are prepared to cooperate fully at every stage if the state government takes it up.